First question today coming to us from our good friend, Mr. Actually, I don't know if you're a Mr. or Miss. I shouldn't assume. From Sub-Zippo, how long do you usually wait to pay off your cruise? Good question. Generally speaking, I pay off my cruise right at the final payment date. My travel agents that I use, which of course is MEI Travel, which is the sponsor of RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. I use them. They usually prompt me to make final payment a couple of days beforehand just to make sure it all goes through smoothly. So let's say, I don't know, 2 or 3 days beforehand. Donald wants to know, is there any way to get cash back from Onboard Credit if you don't use it all? Yes. One way you could get your cash back from Onboard Credit is you go to the casino, and Onboard Credit at its heart is just a credit against your account, right? So if you go to the casino and you have $100 Onboard Credit and you ask to cash out $100, now they're going to charge you $5 for that, 5%. You could do it that way. That's what you're not like directly taking that money out, but the charging money in the casino to your account is the same difference, if that makes any kind of sense. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't think a lot of people always wonder or fear, oh gosh, what if I don't spend all my onboard credit? I'm here to tell you, in practice, it never happens. I really believe that you won't have any problem spending your onboard credit. It goes very, very quickly. I can tell you this. I was on Mariner this season. I had $400 and some odd of onboard credit, and I was by myself on that cruise, and I still spent it very, very easily. So fear not. There's many ways to spend your credits. Kenny K coming with a super chat. Thank you, Kenny. From Facebook yesterday, please tell me why Freedom is ranked so high on your list. I love the layout, but thought the others would be higher. Really, Kenny, it's about the amplification. What Royal Caribbean did with that amplification at the beginning of 2020, right before the shutdown, is truly impressive, Kenny. Freedom jumped from 5 or 6 on my list. What Kenny's talking about is my personal bias list of my favorite cruise ships. Freedom is now number 2, and that is because of how awesome the amplification was. It was that impressive. Thank you, Kenny, for the super chat. Jeff and Heather want to know, how do you recommend making reservations for the dining package when you get on the ship? Great question. So the easiest way to do this, Jeff, is you can make reservations at any specialty restaurant. So what I would do, Jeff or Heather, is go to the nearest specialty restaurant you can find, whether it's Chops or Jamie's or whatever, and then, make a reservation, but ask them to make reservations for other restaurants. They can help you out with that. There's no issue. They can book other restaurants as well. So just because you're at Chops doesn't mean they can't book you a Zumi and so forth. So that's really the easiest way to do it. Sometimes you'll see crew members walking around. There is sometimes even a specialty restaurant reservation desk, but that is, if you see them, certainly go there. But any specialty restaurant can book any other specialty restaurant. What is my least favorite place to eat on a cruise? Have you had any memorably bad experiences? No, not bad experiences. For me, I would not pick to eat at Hooked, the specialty restaurant on Symphony of the Seas and Navigator. Why? Not because the food is bad, because I don't eat shellfish. And most of the menu is shellfish. So personally, it's not my favorite. It's my least favorite place to eat at. It doesn't mean the food is bad. It just means that it really favors somebody who eats a lot of shellfish. So I heard the Royal Caribbean app will now accept uploading COVID shot cards. Is that true? Yes, Jeff, it is on. You know how you heard it? Somebody read it on RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com and told you about it. It's on the homepage, dude. I posted it earlier today at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Now, it is couple things, Jeff. It's only for certain ships. Right now, I think it may only be available for Freedom of the Seas. So that's number 1. And number 2, you still need your card. What it's doing, Jeff, is it's saving you that time. Remember, you've gone on a cruise already. You know what this is about. You go to the cruise terminal. Mr. Leonard, do you have your vaccine card? Of course you do. You take it out, you show it to them, and then what do? They sit there and take photos of the front and back. And then they ask for everybody else in your party to do the same thing. Instead, with this new option, you could upload a photo there, thus saving that step. They still need to see the card, but it saves that step of them having to take the photo on there. Same way that you take a selfie photo at home as well to speed things up. So Sonoma wants to know, do you have any hacks for moving up the ladder on Crown and Anchor program? Well, truly, I would say, number 1, book your cruise before the end of September, because that's when the double points program ends. So get that in. But really, the best hack, if you really want to move up quickly, Sonoma, is to book rooms by yourself or book suites by yourself, because then you really can rack up the points quickly. If you stay in a junior suite is really the sweet spot right there, because junior suites get double points for being in there. If you're in there by yourself, then you actually get triple points. And then if you're in a suite by yourself during the double points promo, you actually get 6 points per night. That is incredible. You will move up the system so quickly. So yes, if you did a 7-night cruise in a junior suite by yourself, you would legitimately get 43 points on the double, which is crazy. Crazy. April has got a question for us. Do you still need to make reservations for the shows because of limited capacity? Can you just wait in line to get in? Either way, I mean, reservations assure you of a spot in there, but in practice right now, when you've got ships that are sailing with 30 or 40% capacity, yeah, you don't need them. You don't need it. However, they're going to start increasing capacity, right? And as they do, they'll become more important. So I'd recommend, it's free to do it. You can do it on board the ship very easily via the Royal Caribbean app. So I'd recommend doing it because why not, essentially? Here's Trey's question, I think from earlier. Going on Odyssey of the Seas October 3rd in an interior cabin, given the reduced capacity and the fact that I'm a Diamond member, how would you suggest going about requesting an upgraded room? Royal Up is really the way to go. You could certainly go to guest services once you're on board and ask, but I had some friends who tried this on Odyssey of the Seas and they struck out with it. So I would say it's Royal Up or bust, or actually, Trey, of course, if you obviously you could call your travel agent and check how much more it would be to upgrade. But you really should be Royal Up should be your primary go-to way of upgrading your room. Ashley wants to know, how was Odyssey of the Seas? Fantastic. It was amazing. I talked a lot about it actually in this week's podcast episode, which will be available at royalcaribbeanblog.com coming up this week. But I can tell you that it was really, really impressive, Ashley. I've been on Quantum class ships. I think Odyssey is they not say they finally got it right, but they really got it right with Odyssey of the Seas. They kind of used all the tricks in the book and all together, all the tweaks, all the upgrades, Zone Zero, the refreshed pool deck, the revamped Seaplex, all of that combined really made it a great experience. I love that quite a bit. David, any good info on the virtual reality space on Odyssey? Yes, so Zone Zero, do it. It's amazing. I don't want to give away spoilers, but Zone Zero is a virtual reality experience. It costs $18 a person. You go in there, they put you on a full virtual reality suit. You actually go in a room with 3 other people. You see each other in virtual reality, and you get to walk around. You literally walk. Like, you don't know what walk, but you can. This isn't like a virtual reality headset where you just sit in your chair and you're like this, right? It is truly virtual reality. The closest thing we have to holodeck right now from Star Trek, that's what we got right there. 12th man, what happens if we don't get results back in check-in time? We saw this for Ovation. Don't know what happened to them. They don't go on the cruise. There's, in some cases, depends on when they show up, 12th man. I overheard that some people were being sent to a nearby testing site. Like, oh, go, if you can get back in time, you can get your test done. But basically, you would have to leave and go somewhere else to get your test and hopefully get your results back. When it comes to the test results, the only reason you're not getting your results back in time is if you're just not doing the very little amount of work required in the beginning to get it done. What I mean by that, if you're an adult, you should be getting an antigen test. You're not getting a PCR test for yourself. It's going to take way too much time. Get an antigen test. That's number one. Number two, if you're an adult, get the at-home test, which is an antigen test. Done. You're done. You're all set. There's no excuse at that point. The other part of it for kids, get your PCR test for the kids done exactly 3 days beforehand. Not 2, not 1. 3 days beforehand, you will get your test result in time. I know nobody guarantees test results by any means, but in practice, they all come back within about 24 to 48 hours. So I think that if you do that, that is the recipe for success. That's what I would recommend. Stacy says, if we board at noon on Friday, does it matter what time we do our test on Wednesday? No. Royal Caribbean does not care about what time you do your test. Does not matter. It's not about hours, it's about calendar days, Stacy. So just 3 days beforehand, or 2 days beforehand for you as an adult. Just that's all that matters. It does not matter about the time. It's a good question. Because I know some cruise lines say hours, like 72 hours on whatnot. That's not Royal Caribbean, just days, calendar days. Wu-Tang Life wants to know, I'm going on a advertised spring break cruise on Freedom of the Seas in March. Should I expect a party atmosphere? No, I did spring break. I've done spring break cruises. There will be spring breakers on board. They're actually not as bad as I thought they would be. I did a 3 and a 4-nighter on Mariner of the Seas, and there was an advertised group that was on board. And yeah, there were more college-age kids on board than usual. The funny thing was they were really active up in the pool deck, which I never really go to anyway, during the daytime. And at night, they were all like passed out. So I was in the pub, like, where's the spring breakers at? actually wasn't as bad as I thought. I don't think a lot of spring breakers do Royal Caribbean. Is there going to be a little bit different vibe? Sure, but it's not going to be like, I don't think it'll be overtly different. I survived. Let's put it that way. I didn't think it was that bad. We're live every Monday here on YouTube, so come check us out each and every week. We can talk Royal Caribbean together. Of course, there's plenty more Royal Caribbean news, information, fun, advice waiting for you at royalcaribbeanblog.com. It's all waiting for you over there. And we'll talk again next week right here on YouTube. Until then, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. That's important as well. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Good night, everybody.